for the 2021 tournament. Here's what we know so far of what is likely and what is being discussed. 14-day player quarantine. The big one comes in the middle. Federer and Serena, both of them confirmed that they will be playing. Reduced spectators is what we would expect, just given the current climate of the world. And things are ever changing, so we discuss kind of what we expect, and those are kind of the points that we're going to hit. Noah Eagle, Nico Pereira is still here. Kamau Murray is with us today, and he's coming styled again. I mean, he's putting all of us to shame. Back-to-back days, Kamau. Thanks for coming on again. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. So let's go through exactly what we're expecting. We saw some of those points. Here's what Tennis Australia President Craig Tiley had to say on getting Australian government to kind of loosen some of the player quarantine restrictions. He said, we completely accept that everybody coming from overseas has got to have 2 weeks in quarantine, but what we are negotiating is a quarantine environment where the players can train and go between the hotel and the courts in those 2 weeks. So this kind of poses a good question for Kamau, especially as a coach. How much of a difference would a strict 14-day quarantine be versus a 14-day kind of player bubble where they can train?
I think obviously for the quality of tennis for the tournament, a 14-day bubble where they can train would be better. But, you know, it's really a question of do you play or not play. I mean, whatever the conditions are, whatever the rules are going to be, they're going to be the same for everybody. And so I think it's really about what do you do from day 15 on, right? If everyone's got to do a 14-day quarantine, then that's just what it is. And we got to make the most of day 15 forward. So, you know, you can complain about it. You can try to make adjustments. But I think the key is Craig is being very transparent and they're making adjustments on the fly. So it's really, do you play under the conditions or do you not? And then once you decide to play, then you just go with what the conditions are.
Now, you're talking about a master negotiator in Craig Tiley, and we know it. But from a coach's point of view, it's a dream come true for guys like you because you have the players in the bubble before you have them behaving during the Christmas holidays. So I think that's a big advantage. And we've seen all the bubbles, they result in better quality of play when it comes to it, I think.
So you've seen, as you mentioned, you've seen the bubbles. You saw it at the U.S. Open. You've seen how they dealt with it in Paris. How do you feel that Craig Tiley is handling this situation so far? Because a lot is changing, and we don't know exactly what the world's going to look like. We don't know what Australia is going to look like. So how have you felt he's done so far?
Well, he's done great because he got lucky in 2020 with the fires in Australia. People forget about that, and he dealt with it in a masterful manner. And I think now he has also the experience of the U.S. Open bubble plus the Paris bubble, and he will learn from those. He already has announced reduced crowds, and they are a top organization, second to none. I really love what they do there, and I wish them the best. But the truth is, we don't know where this thing is going. So there's still some weeks that things can change.
Exactly. Kamau, I'm interested from your perspective because you're living in this, and you and Sloan are going to have to kind of plan around this. And so they're telling the players and they're telling the teams to get there around mid-December. So how do you plan around that? How do you figure out, okay, this is what makes the most sense for us to make sure we're going in our best form?
You know, as a coach, it's been my dream to make a player practice.
Good point. That's a good point.
I think it's not a bad thing. I mean, I think when you talk about getting the best training situation, to have a player in one place in a very controlled environment without a lot of distractions or photo shoots or other obligations, travel for family, it could make the quality of practice a lot better. And so, you know, we're going to go through off season, you know, as we would any other year. And then we're just maybe a 2 or 3 day interruption for travel. And then we'll pick it right back up. So we've got our schedule made. We've got 2 or 3 days planned for travel. And we're going to pick it right back up. And then we're going to practice on Christmas Day.
There you go. Hey, nothing wrong with it.
The players love those Christmas days practicing. Good luck with that one. What I'm wondering about is that all the players are going to be in just one place. And that's going to be really interesting. And it's going to change the dynamic of preparing for a Grand Slam, right?
Yeah, you know, one of the challenges during the offseason is getting enough players in one location, a good practice set. So this could be, you know, very interesting in terms of getting great practice matches ahead of the Australian Open.
Well, the one good thing is, and you talk about getting players in one location, 2 big names have already committed. You got Roger Federer and you've got Serena Williams. So, Kamau, how important do you think that is? Because, look, we know that these players want to play in the slams, but to have 2 of the greatest of all time, certainly towards the end of their careers, but still competing and already saying, we are going to be there. How important is that?
I think it's good to set the tone and just say, hey, we're willing to suck it up. And so everybody else prepare to suck it up. I think, you know, Serena, you know, made a great, set a great example with U.S. Open and French Open and showing up ready to play. And so I think it's big for Craig to say, hey, whatever the conditions are, we're committed and everybody else should get ready as well.
The Australian Open has become such a force because from being the least important slam now is so huge in that area of the world, in Asia as well. And Serena, we know how hard she's chasing number 24. Roger said he was going to play in 2021. He's been saying that he feels healthy, so it doesn't surprise me. But a great move from Craig Tiley coming out and saying, hey, listen, these guys are playing. They're carrying the banner for the last 15, 20 years. Everybody should be here at this party.
And we're excited for Australian Open 2021.